Welcome to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. I'm Pete Mezzetti, and we are on the shoreline at Luigi's Restaurant. And with my guest this evening is Old Saybrook First Selectman Carl Fortuna.
How are you, Pete?
How are you, Carl?
Good.
Good to see you, bud.
Good to see you. It's been a while.
It has been. It has been. We've talked, but we haven't seen each other.
Yeah, I've been doing some of the monthly updates at Valley Shore Community Television.
All right.
I know we've missed each other a few times, so I'm glad to finally connect.
Yeah, I know. Good.
By the way,
yes,
I love being on your show.
I smell a butt.
I will say the monthly updates, people look at them, people watch them. We put them up on the town website, and I can do this with the show too. If you send me the link, we'll put it on the town website.
Oh, okay, you can do that.
There's a lot of stuff to talk about. So.
Well, where do you want to start?
Well, first of all, how are you?
I am good. I am good.
Good. And what do you what is that amber colored
beverage?
Beverage, yeah.
It's a protein shake of hops, wheat, and barley.
Wait, we're at a restaurant.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
I get it. Well, cheers to...
Exactly.
Cheers to clear liquids, too.
Exactly.
And you'll have to... My throat's a little bit hoarse today, so I hope to make it through the interview.
Okay.
But, one of the things I thought we could start with was early voting.
Yeah, please.
Obviously very new for all our cities and towns.
Right.
There was a lot of hesitation and a little bit of trepidation with it because, 14 days is a lot of days to staff early voting, and not every town has a good location for it. Right. So to give you an example, early voting in Old Saybrook is in Town Hall, probably that way in Clinton, probably that way in Westbrook. I don't know if it's like that in the Lyme Town Hall. Yeah. But you're talking about a tremendous amount of traffic that is coming into your town hall. Yes. So, for instance, on Monday in the Old Saybrook Town Hall, 385 people, approximately, came in and out of Town Hall.
Oh, my goodness.
And they are coming in and out of Town Hall right outside my office, right outside the suite that my admin, my finance director, my IT, and it is heavy traffic, and we had to shut the door for a little bit. Not a big deal at all. No. I voted Monday. Okay. There were big lines in the beginning of the day, and I kept peeking my head out and saying, "Oh, there's no line now," and I went and voted when there was no line. So I had the advantage of constantly checking. But exactly. I heard I forget who it was, the superintendent of the Old Saybrook schools. He has not moved down this way yet. He's from up north in Connecticut. Yes. And he waited 20 minutes in line to early vote. Ooh. I don't know that that's any worse than voting on election day. Yeah, right. Anyway, it's clearly a success, but to give you an idea on the numbers, so in a presidential election, I think in 2020, and I'm going to give you a rough number, so Old Saybrook is a population of 10,500 people. Okay. Approximately. Sure. Over 8,000 people voted. I think it was more like 8,400 people voted for president in 2020. So if you but if you send out 380, but let's say the average is going to be more like 300 over the course of 14 days, I mean, you're looking at almost 4,000 people early voting if the numbers stay as high as 300, which I'm guessing that they're going to average 300 because I think it's going to go down a little bit. Like maybe today and tomorrow, maybe Monday too. But then I think it's going to go back up before Election Day because people are going to be, really thinking about Election Day. So I think you possibly could get half of the Old Saybrook electorate voting early in Town Hall, and that doesn't include absentee ballots. So let's say there's another 500 of those. So. The day at the polls should be certainly a lot quieter. I think it'll be busy, but not a lot quieter. So early voting, I do think needs to change a little bit. I think it's too many days of it.
Right.
And it's very expensive. It's another unfunded mandate on the towns. We need to pay all these people.
Right.
And so I'd rather see maybe 7 days of early voting.
Right.
And no excuse absentee balloting.
Correct.
So that you can walk in any day, 2 months before the election, get your absentee ballot, say, I just want to vote absentee, and put it in the
box.
container right outside of town hall that has a camera on it. So, we can't be stuffing it like we saw in Bridgeport on video.
Right.
Wait, did I just say that?
You did.
No, but I think that's what we saw anyway.
Exactly.
So I think no excuse absentee voting is a less expensive way to give people 24/7 access to the ballot box.
Right.
And I like that.
Yeah.
And that is what the constitutional amendment was on the ballot.
Right.
So not only there was early voting for all the candidates,
right,
but there was just for your listeners, your viewers, there's a constitutional amendment at the top of the ballot.
Right.
Saying, should there be no excuse absentee balloting?
Right. There was a question.
And so if you're in favor of what I just said, I would say vote yes. And if you're not, vote no. But that would be a less costly way for Connecticut to have great access to the ballot box, but in a less expensive manner.
Right.
So there you have it.
All right.
Anyway,
yes,
it's been a great success. Let's
yes,
just say that. People love early voting. I don't think there's any question about it.
No. Yeah,
I'm surprised it took Connecticut that long.
I know, yeah.
And you voted, I understand.
I did.
Yeah?
I did.
And did you experience a line or anything? Wait,
no.
No?
No,
Okay.
I was at my polling place in my hometown. I was in and out of there in about 5-10 minutes.
Wow, good. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, good.
So what's going on in Saybrook?
God.
We got a lot going on since you and I have seen each other last.
The first thing I want to brag about is Sustainable Connecticut, the Gold Award that we received. So, and I think people are probably tired of hearing about it. I've been talking about it for 2 months.
Actually, the last time I had somebody on with me to talk about sustainable, it was
Lynette Wacker.
You got it.
And maybe she came in with somebody.
I think she came in with Jennifer.
Yeah. So for your viewers, Lynette Wacker works in our land use office, and Jennifer Donahue is our economic development director.
Right.
But so Sustainable Connecticut is a nonprofit organization that encourages towns to make their communities more sustainable, whether that's from an economic point of view, helping businesses survive downturns, or whether it's from a coastal point of view, making your shorelines more resilient, or in many other ways, culturally. Is your community resilient from a cultural point of view? And Old Saybrook got bronze, I think, in 2017. Then we got silver in like 19 or 20. And this year, and I have to give a shout out to Lynette Wacker and Sarah McAwicki. Sarah McAwicki was very instrumental in the application. And she put in the application and we received gold certification. We are one of 2 towns in the state of Connecticut to achieve gold certification. And my understanding is that we got the most points ever for a submittal.
Really?
It's a point system.
Yeah.
That's how they do it.
Right.
You get points for doing this and you get points for doing that. And and I would encourage you, and I'd love Valley Shore Community Television staff, on November 13th at the Cape from 4 to 6, the Sustainable Connecticut Awards are going to take place. And obviously, Old Saybrook will be featured, but all the towns that achieved bronze, silver, or gold certification are invited to be there. There's 280 seats in the Cape, and I want those seats filled. I want them filled with folks from all over town, folks from out of town, folks who are interested in the program, just citizens of Old Saybrook. So it's something to brag about. It'll be fun. It'll be a fun program.
Right.
I think they'll have some other dignitaries there to.
Are you going to speak?
I will be. Look, it's a home game.
Oh boy,
it's a home game for me. Come on, it's like So I'm going to be doing a little bit of the. I don't know if I'm emceeing, but I'm going to be doing a little intro because the Cape. We're going to be at the Cape, so we'll tell a little history of the Cape. And the other exciting thing that I'm trying to promote a little bit is I did a podcast. So Sustainable Connecticut has a podcast called The Impact.
I think I saw this.
IMPACT. And, I want to say James Hunter, I think, is the gentleman who MCs that. Okay. And we did about an hour-long podcast. It's my first podcast ever. Mm-hmm. It was super enjoyable. I've tried to promote it a little bit. I don't like listening to myself for 52 minutes in an interview, but I thought it came out pretty well. I was well coached by, again, Sarah and Lynette. They did a great job assisting me with my notes so that I could sound reasonably intelligent, which is hard for me sometimes, in the podcast. So if there's a way for you to get that link up, right, and for Sustainable Connecticut, the Impact Podcast, I'm really trying to encourage people to listen to it, and it was really fun to do. Yeah. So those are some really good things to brag about for Old Saybrook. Our early voting is a huge success, and the Sustainable Connecticut, November 13th, 4 o'clock, and you have to register. Okay. You can't just show up, but registration's free. Right. And so...
I can't just walk in, I'm Pete Mezzetti, well, do you know who I am?
You can, because you're one of the dignitaries I was talking about. Okay. So, look at our shirts. Look at that.
I know, we match.
Look at that.
Almost.
Look at that.
We almost match.
Brothers from another mother.
Exactly.
And then, of course, in Old Saybrook, we try to always have good things going on, right? So... we have our winter events coming up. Yeah. We have our Starlight Festival on December 7th. Right. And that's a big deal. So we are expanding. Every year we've been growing the Starlight Festival. This year we made an investment of $20,000 for new equipment, like new lighting. Okay. So the Economic Development Commission, spearheaded by Jennifer Donahue, sure, put together a 3-year plan because, when you go to certain towns, you see, you go into that town and you see the lights. Right. And you say, man, this is so holiday-ish, festive. I want to go back to that town. Right. And we want to make Old Saybrook one of those Christmassy towns. Right. And, we're such a summer town. We're way more of a year-round town than we've ever been since I've been in town for 30 years. But we're really trying to make it an all-season town, and certainly the Starlight Festival is doing that. It's putting us on the map. And Jennifer has a 3-year plan to really build that up. Okay. And we're going to crush it. And that is, of course, the night that we light we have the Christmas tree. Yep. The Blue Star Memorial. Yes. And there's all kinds of fun activities for kids and adults, and it's just a great night. And then that's followed, of course, the following Saturday by the Torchlight Parade.
Yes.
George Washington right here, baby.
That's right.
We'll send pictures. But
I will come take pictures.
Yeah. So, by the way, I know this is a bit of a tangent, Go ahead. Not exactly related to what we were just talking about, but we're at Luigi's right now. Yes. And I do want to mention that on Monday night coming up, October 28th, I don't know when this will air. It may be too late, and if it is too late, we want to congratulate Mike Cronin, who was the town attorney for the town of Old Saybrook for 50 years. 50. 50 straight years he represented, and he's only 48 years old. How do you know? So Mike retired recently. Really? Mike's getting up there, but his mind is as sharp as ever, and he just decided the time was right for him to step away. And on October 28th, if anybody knows Mike or wants to say goodbye to Mike, from a professional point of view, of course. We're doing that at Luigi's on Monday night. Lenny very graciously is opening the restaurant.
Right.
So we're going to have the whole restaurant to ourselves, and we're going to give Mike a retirement party. But the other thing to put on the calendar is, have you, we have a town report that we put out every year, our annual town report.
Yes.
So
you and I have talked about it.
Our annual town report, we're very proud of it. We usually do, I think, do a great job. Not me. Again, Jennifer is very instrumental in putting out the town report.
And Georgianne.
Yeah. And on the inside cover of the town report
is a picture of Pete Mezzetti?
No.
Oh, okay.
Actually, no. Anyway, we try to honor a couple people, whether they're longtime volunteers.
Right.
And this year we're honoring Mike Cronin on the inside.
Right.
And we're also going to do a gentleman named Dan Moran, who was kind of our facilities guy.
I know that name.
For, at least the last 10 years. And Dan came across some health problems and was unable to do it anymore. But we miss Dan, and we certainly are going to miss Mike. And when you put something like that in the annual town report, it's forever.
Exactly.
Those books sit in the town clerk's office, and they're there forever.
Right.
So I just want to say to the viewers that on November 25th, at our annual town meeting, which begins at 6 p.m., Mike Cronin and Dan Moran, after we conduct some other town business, will be honored that night. So I'm encouraging Old Saybrook residents to please come out that night and give a round of applause to Mike and Dan. Now
with Mike Cronin retiring, do they have a new town attorney?
Yeah, so we are using several different lawyers, but the town attorney we named is a firm.
Okay.
Pete, that's kind of an interesting question because traditionally these small towns, they were political appointments.
Yes.
The town attorney was a political appointment.
Yes.
And Mike Cronin I'm a Republican, Mike Cronin's a Republican. Old Saybrook has had mostly Republican first selectmen for a very long time.
Yes.
Well, the business of towns has gotten so much more complicated. It's highly unlikely that you're just going to hire the local lawyer who happens to be a Democrat or a Republican now.
Right.
So we hired a firm, and it is no longer a political appointment because you need expertise across many areas.
Right.
Excuse me. And so anyway, Mike is retiring. We hired a firm called Bertram Moses. They're out of New Haven and Milford, Connecticut.
Okay.
And they've been very good so far. But we're not exclusive to any particular firm.
Okay.
But they're one of the firms we're using.
Okay.
But yes, we did name a new town attorney.
Gotcha.
But Mike, 50 straight years.
I know.
Imagine if you were doing Pete Mezzetti shows 50 straight years.
I feel like I'm doing Pete Mezzetti show for
today
50 straight years.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but yeah. So and then we have that going on, and we just opened up a new park in town. I think we've talked about this before. We have new bocce courts in town.
Yes.
It's a park that is in between our pickleball courts and the police station. But one of the other pretty exciting things going on is the Acton Public Library is going to be doing a renovation.
Really?
And you may ask, Carl, what kind of renovation are they doing?
Carl, what kind of renovation are they doing?
All interior. They're not changing the footprint.
Right.
But they're going to kick off their fundraising on December 5th.
Okay.
And we hope to have a special guest there to announce a gift to kick off the fundraising. So it's very exciting. This is approximately a $5 million project, which is hard to believe when you're not changing the footprint.
Right.
But they're going to be doing a lot of new furniture. They're going to be moving a few things on the interior of the library. And we received a $2 million grant from the State Library Board.
Okay.
But we have to raise $2 million in municipal funds.
Okay.
So they have to privately raise $2 million. And thankfully, they're already $1 million into that.
Okay.
They've already, from years and years ago, they had some money that was previously raised for another project.
Right.
So they basically need to raise another $1 million. And then the town is probably going to end up putting in some money, and we'll get to $5 million without actually having to bond for the project.
Uh-huh.
And we are going to have a library. The important thing, Pete, is that we're going to have a library for the 21st century.
Right.
The last renovation of the library took place 25 years ago, and I think you and I can both agree. I'll admit it. I'm 61 years old. The last 25 years have seen a lot of changes.
Oh, yeah.
Just in, computers and the internet and the way people listen to, the way people actually get their information,
Exactly.
and the way people get their music, and, podcasts. And, I remember not even 10 years ago, podcasts were a joke. Like, nobody listened to them. And now podcasts are a big thing.
Right.
It's like all I listen to. So anyway, I want to put that on people's radar also, that the Acton Public Library is going to be seeking donations. So what I would say to folks is that if you can donate $10, $20, $100, or if you know somebody who's willing to donate a lot more,
Right.
We're going to have some matching dollars from a bigger donor.
Mm-hmm.
So any amount will count towards matching, and we need to get to $1 million. And there's going to be a super interesting raffle that we're going to be doing.
Really?
Yeah. So I can't quite disclose that yet, but we're going to be raffling off. You're going to be able to buy tickets, and you're going to have. It's basically going to be a prize.
Right.
And we're going to sell tickets to that, and hopefully that will get us a very significant way towards the ultimate fundraising. And then lastly,
Yes.
or one of the last things I want to talk about is our American Rescue Plan Act funding. As you know, probably
Yes.
from talking to other first selectmen or mayors,
Mhm.
we have to obligate that money by the end of, so it's October 24th today.
Right.
By December 31st, that money basically has to be under contract and
Right.
obligated. And at the annual town meeting on November 25th,
Mhm.
that's what we're going to do.
Nice.
We are going to finish off. We are probably going to, that night, spend, this is a lot of money, spend $1.7 million in ARPA funds.
Oh my
But
goodness.
our residents are going to see immediate impact from those ARPA dollars.
Oh, yeah?
Yep, they're going to see it in, we're fixing a culvert that needs to be fixed. We're doing some paving. We're going to be doing some projects with our historical society. We're going to invest in some affordable housing. We're doing a scanning project in Town Hall. So we're going to be scanning all our land use records.
Okay.
So that anybody will be able to basically access land use records 24/7
Mhm.
and not have to come into Town Hall between 8:30 and 4:30. So one of the things we've been doing over the last few years, Pete, is trying to make Town Hall 24/7 without being open 24/7.
Okay.
And you do that by going online.
Right.
With our building records, our land use records. All our meetings are recorded, and you can watch them at any time. So, really, really exciting stuff. So our residents are, we owe it to our residents to invest in the things that can make their life easier as their life is getting much more busy.
Right.
Between kids and work and just not having the time to go into Town Hall between
Right.
8:30 and 4:30. We want our residents to be able to access Town Hall 24/7.
Now, one of the other things we didn't talk about when we were talking about special events and stuff going on in the town of Saybrook, I'm assuming you guys are going to do the street party again next year?
June 22nd. How do I know that already?
How do you know that already?
Because we've already had 3 meetings on it.
Really?
We're already booking bands. We're doing all that stuff. So June 22nd, 2025. We're not sure what we're going to do with the bands. They may be different. They might be the same. Early registration goes live, I think, next week.
Really?
So we're already registering for next year, June 22nd. And it's going to be really nice weather, I heard.
Okay.
Yeah, the long-term forecast for June
All right.
22nd is spot
Now,
on.
if people want to become a vendor or an exhibitor,
They can go online and they can they can contact Jennifer at Economic Development,
Yep.
number one.
Sure.
Or they can go to, I believe we have our own domain with Celebrate Saybrook.
okay.
But June 22nd, 2025, we're going to limit it to about 100 vendors next year. And the vendors had such great success last year that
Right.
I'm assuming, excuse me, when we do early registration, we're probably going to get 75 out of the 100 right
Yeah.
away. It's been a great success. It keeps building on itself
Right.
over the course of years, which is how these events tend to go.
Mhm.
They build, we got to go to that. Excuse me. Anyway, it'll be a great event next year too, and we'll be sure to come on the show to talk it up again a little bit more as we get closer. So we have 2 historic cemeteries,
Okay.
Cypress and Upper Cemetery.
Yep.
And we're investing in those because a lot of the stones in the Cypress Cemetery
Mhm.
were Portland brownstone,
Really?
where the Portland Quarry is now, where
Mhm.
they have people
Yeah,
go
yeah.
there during the summer, and the sandstone doesn't weather very well over the course of 200 years.
Right.
So we're going to be restoring a lot of the headstones in the Cypress Cemetery, and that's super important. And that's we're doing $80,000 to the Cypress Cemetery, and then we're investing about $10,000 in the Upper Cemetery because we think there were some slaves that were
Mhm.
buried in the Upper Cemetery back in the day,
Okay.
and we want to make sure that their stones are properly recognized.
Right.
What about you? What do you have? Are you?
What?
Yeah, Joe Court.
Yeah, Congressman Courtney was
He's
on
up for
recently.
election.
Yeah, he was here earlier today, so
Okay.
that's always
And how's he feeling about his election?
good.
Yeah, of
He's
course he
feeling
is.
great. Yeah, he's feeling great. Well, I'm going to save you because we're out of time.
We are.
We are.
And I apologize.
Yeah.
I started losing my voice.
All right.
I apologize for that.
We'll
Thank
see you soon.
Thank you for having me.
You got it. On behalf of Carl Fortuna, I'm Pete Mezzetti. Thanks, good night, and we'll see you next week.